What was it like for you when you graduated from college? Life was full of possibilities. Maybe you had job interviews lined up, maybe you didn't, but you felt like you had choices and you were excited about those choices. So how about today? Has your life gotten better since the pandemic, or has it gotten worse? Do you know kids or have kids that were in college during the pandemic? And are those kids thriving in their independent lives right now? Or are they on your couch eating all your food with no plan to move out? As a parent of a Gen Z child myself, I know how hard it is to be a parent. And as a licensed therapist and certified coach who specializes in working with millennials and Gen Zers, I know how much the pandemic impacted young people. See, these questions that I'm asking you are the new normal, right? Life as we once knew it will never be the same as it was pre-pandemic. Now, before all the parents go running, screaming from this building, there are two things I want to say to all the Gen Z parents out there. Number one, it's not your fault. And number two, you're not alone. It's not your fault your child's struggling right now. You didn't cause the pandemic. A 2023 Consumer Affairs report found that since the 1970s, public university tuition has gone up by 310%, and private university tuition has gone up by 245%. This same study found that, again, since the 1970s, home prices have gone up by 100%, but wages have only gone up by 67%. See, we have this formula that's been passed down from generation to generation. Work hard in high school so you can get into a good college. Work hard in college so you can get a good job. Work hard at your job so that you can buy a home, support your life, and someday retire. This formula has been broken for over 20 years, yet our society continues to use it as a barometer of success. So while it's not all your fault your child's struggling right now, as parents of this generation, we have to start figuring out and reevaluating how we help our kids into the future. And you're not alone. It's not just your child. People ask me all the time, as a therapist and coach, how do you sit around all day and just listen to people talk about their problems? Well, it's not quite what I do, but what I tell people is this. My job allows me to see that no matter who you are, where you're from, what you look like, how much money you have, we all struggle. Life is hard for everyone to varying degrees. But what I know from my experience is that it is 100 times harder to launch as an adult today than it was for me or you. This generation really struggles with their mental health. 27% of Gen Zers report their mental health to be fair to poor, according to the American Psychological Association, compared to 15% of millennials and 13% of Gen Xers. So every generation has their struggles, but with technology making advancements at a rapid pace, it makes it really hard for parents to keep up or to even know what their child needs. I work with young adults and their parents, and I've been doing this for the last 15 years. I've counseled and coached hundreds and hundreds of young people, and here's what I know. Young people want to be independent. They want to make their own decisions, and they want to lead happy, successful lives. The thing is that when they're trying to figure out what it is they want to do with their lives, they get overwhelmed by all the choices. And they've got their parents' voice in their head telling them to do this and not that. But what if they really want to do that? Now they don't know what to do. Should they listen to themselves or should they listen to their parents? And if they do choose that, will the parents still support them? And if their parents don't support them, then maybe that means they should focus on something else, but they don't know quite what that something else is, so maybe they should just go back to that first thing they were thinking about? You just got a sense of what some of my sessions are like. This is what's going on in their heads, but there's also far more practical reasons why it's so hard to launch today, like finding a job that's going to cover rent, student loans, and food. And the process of simply finding a job is difficult. You have to be an AI expert and, know all the keywords. And young people are doing this all while scrolling through social media, watching their friends live fabulous lives, getting tons of job offers, going on incredible vacations, while they're sitting at home with mom and dad. Now, parents may be thinking, I don't understand what's going on here. When I graduated, I printed and mailed a dozen resumes, got a few job interviews, and got hired right away. Parents are confused because their once bright, energetic child doesn't seem to want to go out into the world and start their lives. So our young people are caught in this never-ending loop. They're not children anymore, but they don't have a lot of experience being an adult. And they don't have that many life strategies just yet. So all of this builds and builds upon itself to the point where the young person starts to feel an inability to make decisions. Hopeless one minute, optimistic the next, depressed mood most days, motivated but can't sustain it, anxious and irritable, fearful about the future, and so worried about making the wrong choice, they do nothing instead. These are all the symptoms of feeling stuck. So, as a parent, what do you do? How do you help launch your child into the world today? Because parents feel like they've tried everything. Some parents try being their kid's biggest cheerleader, sending them job openings they think they might be interested in, or telling them about a friend of theirs who, may be hiring. Other parents just tell their kids, hey, this is what I did when I graduated. Some parents have taken a tough love approach and told their kid, hey, either get a job or get out. Parents feel like they've tried everything, and now they're blaming themselves and feeling it's all their fault. It's not working, and here's why. Your young adult child doesn't want you to have all the answers. In fact, they don't want you to have any of the answers. It's not that you give bad advice. It's just that what worked for you isn't going to work for them. Now, as a parent, hearing this, you should feel a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. How amazing is it that it's not your responsibility to solve all of your kids' problems? It's not your responsibility to ensure their success. So here's what they do want. They want you to have the questions. And let me illustrate how this works. I'm going to tell you the story of Madison Z, a recent college graduate. To protect my client's privacy, Madison is a combination of a couple different clients I've worked with during and after the pandemic. Picture it. Boston, 2022. Madison Z graduates from college. And overall, it was kind of a weird college experience. She started school in 2018, and it was a hard adjustment at first, but she joined some clubs and really started to make some good friends. Then COVID happens. Madison was in the middle of her second semester sophomore year when everything shut down. So in the beginning, Madison stayed at school because, sheltering in place was only supposed to be 2 weeks. So Madison sat in her apartment and took classes online until the end of April, when she finally just went back home because she didn't know what else to do. Madison moved back home, something she didn't think she was going to have to do so soon, from May of 2020 to the fall of 2021. So for those 16 months, Madison spent most of her time by herself in her room. She didn't want to see too many people in person because she didn't want to get her family sick. The guy that she had been talking to at school disappeared, and all of her friends scattered across the country. So Madison spent most of her free time watching reruns of Friends and CSI and scrolling through social media, which just became increasingly painful because it was just a reminder of how much she was missing out on. Madison returned to school for her senior year in the fall of 2021, but most of her classes were still online. Those solid friendships she had built were a little awkward now because she hadn't seen these people in over a year. And most of the school events were still canceled, and the events that did happen, the rules were so strict, no one wanted to go to the football games or do anything else with Madison. But Madison made it through, and she had a lot of fun the rest of her senior year. And just when she felt like she was starting to make some really good friends and build a community, it was time to graduate. And again, everyone scattered across the country, and she went back home because she didn't know what else to do. I mean, should she look for entry-level jobs, or should she go back to graduate school? But in what, she didn't know. Should she start an online business, or, become an influencer? It all felt so overwhelming. So Madison did nothing, and she felt powerless. So put yourself in the shoes of Madison's parents. She goes to you to vent, to get some empathy and understanding about her particular situation. Now, Madison's parents, they know how hard life can be. And they know that they need their daughter to be able to stand on her own 2 feet. So they tell her, stop worrying about it so much. And, just pick something already. As a parent, it's really easy to get wrapped up in your own fears and expectations for your child. So much so that you forget that their fears are even greater than yours. And the expectations they have are even bigger. So now, on top of feeling powerless, Madison felt defeated because her parents, their fears prevented them from seeing what she really needed in that exact moment, which was excitement, hope, inspiration. So what happens if parents flip the script? Instead of answering questions, they start asking them. Questions like, if you look back through your past, what was your most meaningful experience? What kinds of people do you enjoy being around? What kinds of tasks, activities, projects do you enjoy doing the most? What do you think you're really good at? What inspires you? Who inspires you? Or even, what jobs would you never want to have? What people would you never want to work around? Once Madison's parents started asking questions, Madison started to recognize that she had skills and talents that she had completely forgotten about because she was so focused on what she couldn't do. This conversation with her parents was helping her see that she had unique qualities that would make her an asset to any organization. Suddenly, Madison couldn't wait to get back to her laptop and start Googling opportunities that are right for her. By Madison's parents asking her questions, they accomplished 3 things at once. Number 1, they modeled a real simple way for Madison to be able to jump to possibilities rather than hurdles. Right? Hearing herself say out loud her strengths and aspirations really helped boost her sense of self and reduce that voice in her head that was telling her she wasn't good enough. 2, it empowered Madison to start solving her own problems, as opposed to always going to her parents, or even worse, social media, for the answers. And 3, it created a closer connection between Madison and her parents. She knew she could go to her parents with her concerns, and they would listen to her without judgment. And something interesting started to happen. Each time Madison went to her parents and confided in them and told them about how she was feeling, not only did her anxiety lower, so did her parents. See, Madison's parents knew the pandemic was hard on her, but they didn't know to what extent. But hearing Madison's stories and the stories of her friends who also recently graduated helped them feel relaxed for the first time in a long time. And they suddenly started to feel confident and excited for Madison's future, which only made Madison feel like she could tackle anything. Now, today, Madison is still living at home, but she's employed at a job that's really promising. And there are days when she feels overwhelmed by the world around her, and she doesn't have all the answers just yet. But she feels confident that she knows the questions to ask. As a parent in today's world, the secret to launching your kid is asking questions and really listening to the answers. The answers aren't about you and how much longer they're going to be living with you. The answers are about them and how to help them move towards their own lives and futures independently. The bonus for you is you get to build an even better relationship with your child in the process. Thank you.